Now we are watching bees at the beekeeper area. You can learn all about bees. We did that a little while ago with First Lego League Junior. And bee examples.
What do you want to know exactly?
Well, what are we looking at?
Okay, so this is a frame of honeybees from a colony just a couple of blocks away, and normally this one frame is in a box of 10. We usually stacked a couple high, and the bees get a chance to come and go.
So it doesn't have the acrylic then?
Doesn't have a what?
The acrylic? Or
Correct.
does it?
Yeah,
okay.
it's just open. It would be.
Listen to what they say.
Oh, he already heard the first part. So we just took one frame out.
Okay.
So we can bring them here for people to take a look at. And there's a couple things going on here. So this is wax honeycomb that the bees have built.
Yep.
And the white, shiny, kind of mucusy looking things in here are eggs that the queen has laid.
Okay.
And those we know are less than 3 days old because they get covered at about that time with this kind of brownish looking stuff.
Okay.
All here, these are, it's called brood. Because basically the queen laid an egg and it started to develop, and eggs or bees will hatch out of there. If we were to look at them now, they look like a white skeleton of a bee because they're not fully developed. But when they come out, when they're ready, they look just like a bee. They're good to go. We can tell that all of these babies, this brood, they're females, which is great because the females do all the work. And it's great to have a lot of workers. And we can tell that because it's flat. The workers are the smallest of the bees. The next is the drones. The drones are bigger and they have kind of bulgy eyes. So the bigger bees you see in here are drones. And the
Show me one.
There was I just saw one right in here, right here.
Okay. I could kind of see some are bigger.
Yeah.
Okay. And the little
the
guys.
queen is the biggest.
And the drones are the males?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the drones don't do any work. The only thing that they do is they will fertilize a queen, but not their own queen exactly. And so they kind of the queen of this colony lays drone eggs for the good of the order.
Oh, right.
And she lays a lot more. You can see even by this, and this is normal. She lays more worker bees than drones.
Fascinating.
And then every place that it's shiny, it's nectar. So the bees have gathered nectar from a flowering plant, and they've mixed it with an enzyme. Normally the foragers, they collect it, bring it back to the hive, give it to one of their sisters. The sisters mixes it with an enzyme, puts it in a little chamber, and they cook the nectar to reduce the water content to turn it into honey. So once it's about 17% liquid, it's honey and it's good to go.
How do they cook it?
With their flapping their wings, just it evaporates.
How fun is that?
I know. And then up in here, you can see how these covered cells look different than these covered cells.
Yeah.
This is honey that's ready. It's capped honey.
So this honey is just being collected. They're still putting more stuff in.
It's nectar.
Uh-huh.
And then this is the actual honey where it's covered up.
So they keep adding more nectar to the honeycomb, and when it's full, then they cure it, and then when it's full and cured, then they cover it up.
Right. What normally will happen too is, so the queen has laid eggs here, and she's. And you can see just recently she was laying eggs. She's probably now moved on to another frame. As this brood hatches, it will probably become nectar chambers, and as this turns into honey, so kind of working down, eventually, most likely this whole frame will be honey. And that's when we would harvest it. We wouldn't harvest this honey now. It just doesn't make sense. And we also wouldn't ever harvest all of the honey from a colony because it is a source of food for the bees as well. So you want to keep that.
For the bees themselves and the new babies.
Yes.
And what do the honeycomb honeycombs made of? Are they wax also?
Right.
Interesting.
The bees make that the honeycomb as well.
So they make the wax.
I
I'll have to look up and see what wax is made of. See where they get the source to that.
Their only
Yeah,
job
I
is
feel
to
like
be
it's
made
something
with
I've
a
read and I don't
flavor.
remember. But it's something they do excrete. They
It's
have a special,
complicated.
chamber, yeah.
And where's your
It
group?
is. It is.
We're Long Beach Beekeepers. We meet
just
once a month at the EDCO building on California between Willow and
Yeah, but you want to
Spring.
hear something.
Between Willow and Spring. That's not far.
Yeah, we have the Christmas card there.
As
Okay.
winter comes on, when food gets a little more scarce, the women, the females, kick
We
the
also
drones out of the
have
hive
a
to die.
free class held on the
They
first Saturday
literally
of the
force
month
them out the front
at the
door.
South
And they
40
die.
Community Garden on South Street near Paramount.
I've been to that community garden.
yeah.
I love it. I
So
love
8
it.
o'clock the first Saturday of the month. And we have another, and that's meant as an introduction. We have another class that's coming up. It's going to be 4 sessions in May, and it is designed to take someone who's just interested in bees to being a beekeeper, and we will give you bees after you complete the course.
I have a question. So those bees that move into your house, and then they go and then they form these giant masses of bees moving and morphing. Are they honeybees?
Yes.
They are? Oh.
So
But some of them don't even look this color. Some of them look darker, like dark black
Maybe
or
just a
something.
different species. There are many, many different species of
But
honeybees.
all bees are honeybees?
No. And the things like a bumblebee, those, you know, they're
I've seen
they come
those.
in ones that are open. A super duper high protein diet of royal jelly.
Wait,
And
look it.
what would have been a normal. They're coming out.
Yeah.
Hatching?
Yeah, look.
They're hatching?
One hatched.
Where? Where?
Right there, that one.
I think they just went out and come back in.
That one.
Could be. No, they hatch
Wow.
sometimes here. So, what would have been a normal worker bee, if it gets that super high protein royal jelly diet, turns it into a queen.
What?
I know, crazy, right? It's nature. I don't know.
Wait, how many? But you can only have one queen at a time.
Exactly. So if you have more than one, they fight it out.
Let me tell you something.
Oh, geez.
What
All
if
these
I'm gonna tell
female
you
bees
something.
fighting.
I know that if this will happen if they all just use the stinger and they die.
So the workers have a
Well,
stinger,
I mean, what will happen if they just all die?
then you wouldn't have bees anymore. You know, you would, yeah, you'd be in trouble. I guess you, maybe when these hatched, you maybe would have a colony, but it's kind of dangerous because in the meantime, while you're waiting for these babies to hatch, there's no bees to defend the hive, there's no one to go get water for the hive, there's no one to get
Wait,
food for
see, no
them.
larva.
Pardon me? What about the larva?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right in there, all that white, little white. That's where.
So can you start over so that I can I can get the whole picture from the beginning? Is that okay?
Well,